Coming up on the NESN Bruins Podcast, the Bruins still really good. That and more this week on the NESN Bruins Podcast. Play the music. Hey everybody, welcome into the NESN Bruins Podcast. I'm NESN.com's Mike Cole, joined as always by NESN.com's Logan Mullen. Logan, how are we?
Good, Mike. How are you?
fine.
Not that I don't already.
Yeah, I know. I'm delightful, peachy, as they say. We are here once again, as we are every week, to discuss the Bruins. And to be honest with you, it's going to be a quick show because there's not a whole lot to talk about.
Not a whole lot that's different.
No, not a whole lot that's different. I mean, we could sit here spinning our tires all day about the looming lineup decisions and just the fact that the Bruins are very, very good. But I think that's going to get boring after a while.
I'm already bored with it.
Me too.
All
anyway, right. So since we last met, the Bruins have played 3 games. They played what it was supposed to be a pretty good test for them, but it hasn't been. I mean, to be honest with you, they beat the Blues Saturday night 3-0 in a Stanley Cup final rematch that probably meant nothing, at least compared to the expectations placed upon it. Nice win the next night in New York, beating the Rangers 7-4. The Rangers have been not very good this season, but anytime you can win back-to-back games with travel in between, that's you'll take that. And then Tuesday night, the Bruins just absolutely dump trucked the Sharks in a game that the Sharks really never had any single chance of winning that game at all. A little bit of push early, but the Bruins just ran through them. So I don't know, just anything sticks out to you after that week of hockey in which the Bruins outscored their opponents by 10 goals in 3 games?
I thought both the Rangers and all 3 wins, if you think about it, were good wins, which I know in a vacuum is a really stupid thing to say. But particularly with the Rangers and the Sharks, sure, they're both very bad teams right now. They have been, but there's plenty of talent there. Anyone that's been listening to this podcast for a while knows I was and remain bullish on the New York Rangers. There's talent there. You still and to score 4 goals in the second period, I think it was, that the Bruins did in that game. Again, no small feat against an NHL team.
Well, and again, you chase Henrik Lundqvist,
right? And I'm also done. I think I'm going to establish this as a rule.
Yep.
I'm done dismissing teams this early in the season
true.
After what happened last year with the Blues. There's enough talent on both the Rangers and the Sharks to think, okay, as long as they're not, even if they are conceivably totally out of it around the new year, so were the Blues last year.
That's
so
true.
You have to play who's on your schedule. There's no questioning the talent that both of these teams have, from Blues, Rangers, and Sharks. So whatever, to win in such convincing fashion in every single game is, not for nothing.
No. Really just a top-level look at things. Bruins tied for the league lead in points. Are they tied or are they second? Well, I just was looking at it. They're second behind Washington, but the Capitals already have 2 games in hand, not to get 2 games in hand already in October. But the Bruins' goal differential of +16 is the best in the league. They're 5-0-1 at home, 4-1-1 on the road. They've won their last 4 games. What else is there to say? They are dominant, but I did think it was interesting that Bruce Cassidy continues to say he's not completely satisfied with his team yet, which I think is an interesting
he kind of has to pick at.
I know, but he did admit finally Tuesday night. He said, "quote We're getting there. I think the past 4, 5, 6 games we've progressively tightened up, played more our style, where teams have got to earn their way out there. I thought at the start of the year we were a little bit too loose, even though our goals against was down. I thought that was probably our goaltenders playing the right way once we got the lead. But I see us more start to finish playing that way." So I think that's interesting too, is that they're finally rounding into form and playing the way he wants them to play. But it's kind of hard to pick nits with the way they played. They are the best defensive team in the league. They're allowing the fewest goals per game. And they are allowing 11th fewest shots per game as well. So I guess to his point, there are things they could tighten up there, or they're doing a good job of eliminating high danger chances. But either way, not a whole lot to get at there. Tuesday did mark the return of David Krejci, who missed
5 games. Yeah. In this most recent,
with an upper body injury, he wasted no time. I believe he scored a first period power play goal.
From Pasternak's spot.
Yeah, right. So he looked good. What do you think of that second line with him, DeBrusk, and Heinen?
I didn't mind it.
Glowing review.
Well, I personally, I guess I fancy myself as a Danton Heinen apologist. I don't think he ever gets that seemed like a veiled insult.
Yeah.
But I don't think he gets nearly enough credit for what he's capable of doing. Like, one of the worst things that could have ever happened to Danton Heinen was for him to score however many points it was his rookie year, 47 points with 16 goals and 31 assists. Because now that's just the expectation for him. Sure, fine, whatever, but he's probably going to have a long career in the NHL based on what he can do defensively. So I kind of liked watching him on the second line. I thought that makes sense because it sort of helps out Krejci in particular on the defensive end and on the forecheck.
Yep.
But I would be more interested to see, and this also depends on health too, but I would be more interested to see a Anders Bjork, Charlie Coyle, Danton Heinen third line. I think that's probably the best allocation of resources that they have if Bjork continues at the pace that he's been at. But for now, I see no reason why they shouldn't try it. I thought Heinen looked his best last year when they put him on the top line.
Yep.
So even when the scoring faded for him during his run with Bergeron and Marchand, he was still useful enough defensively. So he's proven that he can play that top six role.
I thought you were, excuse me. I thought you were about to put Bjork on the second line. I was like, whoa.
I'm not ready for that.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
Nah.
Krejci was. I thought he was good too for the majority of that game. I feel like there was plenty of chance. And the Bruins were on the power play for half the game. It felt like.
Right. Yeah.
So and then late things got kind of messy. So it's kind of a flash of a game, but. To have him back is obviously just going to continue to solidify their depth down the middle and just in that forward group in general. So not a whole lot to complain about there. The goaltending's been fine. If there's anything, what do you think? This is ridiculous, but any negatives? Anything stand out to you that needs improvement?
What happens when they come back down to earth, or what happens when Tuukka Rask hits his seemingly annual cold streak?
Yep.
Like that's going to come back and bite him in the caboose. So, it's okay, fine. It's a good thing that they have good goaltending, obviously, but in a similar vein, it's sort of like, well, it is masking some of the issues that have been coming up for them. So, well, I don't know. I guess that would be a negative. I know it's sort of grasping at straws for however good the Bruins have been, wherever they rank in the league, but it's something.
Yeah.
Not trying to manufacture a take here.
The goaltending's been. I think that's already starting to happen, at least with Locke. I'm just looking at it right now. Yeah, he was awesome that Arizona game to start the season. But in the 4 games since then, he's allowed 13 goals. His save percentage in those games is .896. So his season save percentage is right around his career mark, but he's given up at least 4 goals in each of his last 2 games. He's given up at least 3 in 3 of 4. So that's something to keep an eye on, I guess, as well. But that they continue to win, I guess, is a good thing in spite of that. I don't know. What else is on your mind? Anything? We're kind of spinning our wheels here because there's not a whole lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, you and I chatted earlier today a little bit about the Brett Ritchie situation. I've personally been pretty, I guess, fascinated with how Bruce Cassidy's used Brett Ritchie. I figured he would more or less end up being of the David Backes ilk, where you just throw him on the 4th line and hardly use him. But Cassidy's been pretty consistent in using Ritchie in that middle 6 role.
Ritchie's played in all but 1 game this year.
He's averaging 11 minutes of ice time, which is not insignificant considering that was a guy who was routinely healthy scratched towards the back half of his final season with the Stars. Where exactly he fits in once guys get healthier, I don't know, because he doesn't have that 4th line role when Wagner, Corrali, and Nordstrom are all healthy. And I feel like it might be a bit of a problem if you're hanging your hat on Brett Ritchie being your second line winger as a long-term solution. But he's certainly not hurting the Bruins, right? So for a situation where they had to just go and get bodies during the offseason with very limited cap room, he's been fine.
Actually, to their credit, I mean, the off-season acquisitions look pretty good.
I think
so
Lindholm's
far.
been great. Yeah.
So I guess that's something. Yeah, it's very early.
Don Sweeney wins GM of the year for signing Harlan Holman, Brett Ritchie
for a couple cups of coffee and a donut. Yeah, I think that's actually something I was thinking of the other day. Is that they've been really good so far relative to what the expectations were, because I don't think there was much of anything in the way of expectations.
Yeah. I think what also underscores everyone can try and dismiss the conversation about how the Bruins don't have any secondary scoring, but I think with 2 goals, Richie's like 4th on the team after the 3 top line guys.
Actually, but I don't know. It feels like, I guess the secondary scoring isn't there. But one thing I did want to mention, a guy like Coyle is starting to come alive too. He's got a goal in each of his last 2 games. I was just looking at his numbers earlier. He's got 13 shots on goal combined in his last 2 games. Yeah. So the chances are there, not necessarily burying them, but I think it's one of those things that equals itself out.
I don't think there's a single person on the Bruins that's more positively impacted by David Krejci's return than Charlie Coyle, because Charlie Coyle's a good second-line center. He's a great third-line center. So if he gets to keep matching with other third lines, he's going to be the best forward on the ice.
Well, I think it was Fluto who even wrote this Tuesday morning, talking and made the good point, there's so much firepower on those first and second lines, especially the first line, that you have to roll your top line and your top D pair out against those teams. So if you get Charlie Coyle going up against a 5th and 6th defenseman, the third pairing, he's going to have his way with them. And I think we've seen that recently, especially as teams are kind of zeroing in on that first line.
They have to.
Yeah, and quick update of the David Pastrnak Hart Trophy watch, but. He is
a rare good take from you.
He has slowed down. He has slowed down. He is now only averaging 2 points per game and is on a modest 164-point pace. So they are putting up. We get out of here pretty quick. They're putting up cartoonish numbers right now.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
When you start tearing through the box score the other night from the Rangers game, it's just ridiculous. Just 5s.
And it's funny too, because they're not doing it with ridiculous ice time.
No.
Like you look at a team like Edmonton, who's got McDavid and Draisaitl out for 24 minutes a night, and it's no wonder that they're putting up some of the numbers that they are. I think Bergeron's averaging 8, little under 19. Marchand is averaging 19:28 of ice time per game, and he has the most of the 3.
I'm looking it up. That's what I was trying to.
Oh, you're trying to get me to keep going a little bit longer.
Yeah, sorry. No, but I was interested. I'm interested to see where they land in terms of forwards compared to the rest of the league, which I almost have. Let's see, time on ice.
It's a little bit of dead air.
Yes, it is. So, to your point, Marchand, 30th in the NHL in ice time per game is the highest Bruins for. That's the highest a Bruin ranks on that list.
Yeah.
And he's,
Bruins forward.
Right, yeah. Best line, and of course. Best line in hockey, and you're rolling him out there.
Yeah, right. It's not like they have particularly massive ice time numbers.
And that's the thing. Maybe if they continue to just run all over teams, you can kind of manage that early on, get those guys some rest late in games, kind of like they did Tuesday night. The lead and the circumstances kind of dictated that because the Sharks are running around. But
the rate at which they're scoring obviously isn't sustainable, but the amount that they're playing is, and that's a problem that some teams run into, is they just have to ride the hot hand with, again, using the Oilers as an example, but they can't keep playing those guys 23, 24 minutes a night.
So right now, as it stands, there's nothing that can slow them down outside of the normal stuff, right? Just a cold streak or injuries, or regression. I guess those are 3
even
things
a little bit of regression.
But there's no real flaw right now. I hate to sound way too positive because it's not in my nature, but
forgot to say you're wearing your Bruins jammies to the podcast today.
But there isn't. That shouldn't come as a huge surprise or revelation for a team that came within 60 minutes of a Stanley Cup last year.
Yeah, well, and I can't help but feel like kind of a dink for poking holes at whatever issues there are. What, they still could stand to upgrade as a middle 6 winger.
Right.
But so it's how much every team has areas that they can upgrade, so they're really in no worse situation than anyone else.
Yeah, the one thing they should be doing at some point if they want to add or if something comes available is just depth guys to make sure you're not running, like a Zaboral or whoever out there in the play. Like I'm getting way ahead of myself, but those are the type of I think that's the biggest thing that they're going to need down at some point is just making sure you don't get spread too thin, because I think the depth otherwise is pretty good. I mean, there's in terms of scoring, I think that's going to get there eventually. The scoring depth. I think they have 3 lines that can put the puck in the net. So the defense is good. Again, we're a broken record. But what do you want us to say? Are they the best team in the NHL right now? If the playoffs started today, or if they're 16-team tournament started today, would they be the favorites to win it?
Yeah, them or the Capitals, right? Like, the thing for me is I look at some of the other teams that are at the top, like, okay, the Sabres also have 20 points. I don't think if the playoffs start today, I would say the Sabres are a favorite. Like, the Hurricanes have been good. I don't think the Hurricanes are necessarily going to be an Eastern Conference favorite. You can go to the Western Conference. I mean, the Avalanche, they've been great, but they also are missing like injuries, 90% of their forwards. And the Oilers, they're the best team in the Pacific, the best team in the Pacific. And I'd be pretty skeptical of them making some sort of deep run this year.
I agree. Yeah,
I guess you could say the Bruins are.
I mean, if you want to say the Bruins are the best, I don't think anybody's going to argue at this point. So, all right, week ahead, the Bruins are off till Saturday again. Weird schedule the last couple of weeks, but they have Ottawa at home on Saturday. Monday, they take on the Penguins, and then they have another Tuesday night game at Montreal. So that'll be something we can chew on next time. We'll have 3 games to digest instead of – well, actually, we had 3 this time too. All right, let's get out of here. Nothing else going on. The Bruins are good. We are boring, and we will
Thanks for tuning in.
We will reconvene. No, I think we're great. I think we're great. I'm just trying to keep our it's a long season. I don't want us to get too far out of over our skis. Got to keep expectations low. I'm kind of pulling a Bruce Cassidy right now.
Kind of like our hour-long podcast we were doing during the postseason, like every week.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. When there's things to talk about, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, Logan. It's been real.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We will see you all again next week. Goodbye.